Hello guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ioana and I'm continuing to record this video sharing my experience at the Sivananda Yoga Vedanta Center as a karma yoga or volunteer, or how it's like to work in this center if you are a female, if you are not coming from the rich part of the world, if you're white, and if you have no money. I was a student at the time in 2011. In the previous videos, I shared about the sexual harassment, about the money pressure that I receive from the secretary and the staff of this ashram, although I was there as a volunteer. So I was not feeling very welcome because these people wanted money which I don't have, money that they don't ask me that I have to provide. There was one thing said in the beginning, then something else when I got to the ashram in Canada. So now I was in this new country where I did not speak the language, which is French. I speak some English. And I went there to volunteer. I did not have money. I did not have like opportunity to leave this place on one hand, and on another hand these guys were asking me money. So the first morning I wake up, I will tell you that nobody give me any information upon arrival in regarding of the lifestyle of this ashram, or what is what time you wake up and what time you don't wake up. I had no idea what is the regime of this place, and because of that everything was kind of like very odd for me. Although I arrived to be a staff, nobody bothered to explain me like how this place work, but I'm gonna bother to explain you a little bit what to expect if you go to volunteer in those centers, the schedule at this center and how the schedule work, and then where those karma yogi or volunteers are fitting in this schedule. So when I arrived, it was raining. It was very raining, and it was been raining for weeks. So the ashram was full of mud. And as I said, I bring my tent. No, I was gonna volunteer and live on a tent, but because it was so muddy, it was not okay to put the tent. It was very, very muddy. So they accommodate me or put me in one of the buildings, the main building that is considered hotel there, that has a reception and whatnot. So they put me in this building. In one of these dorms, there was several beds with several other people that were doing also karma yoga, and they tell me that once the weather gets better, I can move and put my tent. And I said, fine. And so I would say maybe they were trying to be kind to me, but I didn't want to stay in this building again because of the money pressure. But anyways, I think I slept in one of these bunk beds maybe 1 or 2 nights. And I decided to put my tent despite the rain because I don't have the money to afford to stay in this place, and I think it's kind of expensive, right? And so nobody tell me nothing about the schedule. So the ashram schedule start with a bell that usually it's ring in 5:20, 5:30, 5:45. So there is 3 times that somebody is responsible to ring this bell. It's not an electronical bell, it's a physical bell made of metal, and people ring this bell in the morning to get you up, basically. And you could hear it even up in the mountains, which means that you have to go to the yoga hall. The bell rings at, I remember, 5:45 and 5 minutes to 6. It's the last bell when you have to go and be already in the yoga hall. If you don't get in the yoga hall by the last bell, then they lock the door and they don't let you inside of the meditation. So morning meditation, it's called satsang, and it starts at 6 every morning, which proceed with some of these gurus singing Om, and then guided meditation, which proceeds for about 30 minutes. After this, you have a morning chant, which proceed with usually, there is the book there with Krishna chants, and you chant all together. And after the chant, which are about 30 something minutes, then one of these guru or palarat is having a speech for the guests and welcoming them and informing them things. And then about 7:30 in the morning, all the guests had have about 30 minutes to get ready for their first yoga class, which is at 8 in the morning. And between 7:30 and 8 in the morning, there is a staff meeting for all the karma yogis where the job is separated and every person is said what to do, and some group of people have responsible that guide the jobs, whatever is necessary to be done in this center, cleaning, cooking, washing, cleaning the hotels. It's a lot of things going on. So that's how the morning thing is. From 8 to 10, there is a first yoga class, which is for the TTC on one platform and for the guest or another platform. TTC is teacher training course. And then 10 a.m. usually it's the first supper. I would like to add that at the ashram there is no tomatoes, no onion, no garlic, no coffee, no sweet, because they are considered tamasic or diabolical food, also no meat. So there is the first supper, it's at 10 in the morning, between 10 and 11 is served, and then you have 30 minutes to eat. Usually there is difficulty to find place to eat because all the tables are busy at this time. So, and then you have to finish by 11:30, and then 11:30 something you have to wash. Everybody have to wash their own dishes, and you have to do this. And then you have to start working, and usually working was including cleaning and whatnot, and you should have karma yogi. They said 4 hours, but this is not true because I work way more than 4 hours. And then for the karma yogi, they work, and then you should be doing one job or one service, but this is not true. And then whoever starts to work for the evening shift in the kitchen, they start between 12 and 4 because the second supper is at 4. The morning kitchen shift starts at 6 in the morning until 10. Then the second yoga class is from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. or 6 something. And then you have the second food, the second supper, between 6 and 7:30. Then you have to wash the dishes. Then you have 30 minutes free in which you can shower or do whatever you want. And then you have the evening satsang or meditation from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then you go to sleep. So if you're working as a karma yoga, your shift is very strict. If you are there to do teacher training courses, you more or less follow the same thing. Morning meditation, then you have 30 minutes to prepare for the yoga class. You can drink a cup of hot water if you want to, and then you start with the yoga class, and you have classes the whole day until the evening. Rarely there would be an hour or 30 minutes break. And usually between 7:30 and 8, it's when you can shower, but because all the people try to shower before that, if you shower at this time, there is cold water. Anyways, that's the ashram schedule. No matter who goes there, this is how everything is run there, and it's being always like that. So nobody tell me about this. I was at this building, everybody get up. They told me if you want, you could sleep, but you cannot actually sleep because everybody is getting up around you. There is a lot of bedlam, and everybody is going to the yoga hall. Usually before the TTC come, they use the small building and then the bigger yoga hall. So said that, long story short, I get up, but one more thing that made me feel uncomfortable, they do not let me to enter the yoga hall. They didn't let me to morning meditations the first few days. I don't know why, but then they told me it's because if you're late, you're not allowed to enter or something. Or there was this lady, Shanrika, she was acting like a soldier. You cannot come because you're late. She would lock the door with the key. And it's very odd, because you should let me know in advance, and all of this lack of information, it kind of make you feel uncomfortable. At least that was my case. I don't know if other people were treated differently. If so, I'm happy for them. So nobody let me at the yoga hall, and I walk around, and the only place that I saw few people, that was the kitchen, and I walk in there and I said hi. And they said, did somebody send you? And I said, what do you mean somebody? And they said, okay, so they send you. And basically this is how these guys at the kitchen made me work in the kitchen. And the first morning I was there, I started to work in the kitchen doing like chopping vegetables and meal prep. And the chef there back then, his name was Ben. And this guy, Ben, was older guy. He was alive when the previous master, Swami Sivananda, was alive. So he was kind of like, I would say he was healthy mentally somehow, although he had these moments that he will talk to himself and look the sky. And he was acting like a person that have some mental health issues, but overall he was not abusive. The reason that I mentioned this is because soon the kids camp started, and Ben went to cook for the children. And into the kitchen came this lady. She was from India. I think her name was Nikita, and her husband, and she was extremely abusive. She would scream, and she was verbally abusive. And while she would prepare the food, she was so nasty and abusive. I honestly, when she cooked, I didn't want to eat because she would scream and curse, and she was just verbally unstable. She was mentally unstable and verbally abusive. So me as a karma yogi, I was taking all this abuse from this lady, and that was for 4 hours. And so while I was done cooking, I didn't want to eat from this lady because she was insane. She was abusive, and I didn't want to deal nothing with whatever this lady was preparing. So that was the kitchen experience. I would add that nobody teach you safety or tell you how to use knife or whatnot. Some people will come and they would be on drugs, shaking and dundling themselves left to right. I did cut myself several times in this kitchen. There was no safety. I would consider this service there like dangerous. And the reason why is because they give you these knives, and imagine you're dealing with those very sharp knives and chopping vegetables, and then you have these very aggressive and abusive people screaming at you. It's just a horrible combination. It was a very, very horrible time that I had in this kitchen. Then I requested to be moved at housekeeping with this lady, Anjali. And I was moved to housekeeping, but for some reason they keep obliging me to go to the kitchen and to the housekeeping. So I was 6 in the morning at the kitchen, then finishing to clean the kitchen. Then I was going to clean these apartments, not only, but there would be some people that will follow me and tell me that I was lazy and I was not doing proper cleaning. And accusing me of actually not cleaning, but pretending that I clean. And it was bad. It was just horrible. And then I cleaned one of the rooms, and then this guy Prahlad went to sleep there, and he actually realized that it was clean. But I know I was cleaning the room. So basically I received a lot of bullying and stalking and complaints about the job that I was not doing. It was this other person. And basically in the housekeeping, there was different people that had to do different rooms, but some of those people didn't do their job. And then those people will complain that, for example, I did something bad. This would be people who are lazy but still karma yoga, but some privileged girls that were having an affair with someone there. It was heavy. It was heavy. There was drama. I did like the housekeeping. I used to work as a cleaning lady when I was a student, so I'm sure that what I did was well done. And then I was so burned out. I couldn't handle anymore. I was really tired of all this abuse. It was a lot. And I'm not talking about like somebody just like this Brazilian dude walking and telling me, move on, you're lazy ass, or something like that. I'm telling you, there is so much hate coming from every direction. In the kitchen was abuse. In the housekeeping, there was girls that were jealous with each other and competing and whatnot. It was just bad. I personally felt in a horrible, toxic environment there. I was counting the days down. This is the truth. And then I noticed that I was able to sleep when I listened the Brahmin prayers. So I decided to request to be moved there at the temple. And I think that was another error that I did, and I will mention with you why. Because for a short time I was working, like doing things around the ashram with this Brazilian dude who was stalking me, with the Nirmala who was also, they were constantly in this emotional crying, abusive battles between her and the Brazilian dude. So it was this Nikila battles with that Brazilian dude who was abusing her emotionally, psychologically. And he was also like bullying me, and I didn't want to be with these people. I didn't want to work with them. I didn't want to be around them, you know. So I requested to be moved up in the temple, and Prahlad was like, well, okay, I do this for you. And as I mentioned in the previous video, he moved me to the temple, where I was like, let's say in the beginning there was another lady there. Her name was Sharda, and Sharda was kind of big and really slow, and I would use the word indolent. But I don't know the motivation of Sharda, but why she was there helping at this temple. But I did really wanted to work at the temple. And in the beginning, while the Sharda was going there, everything was good. But then soon after, one of the ladies, the Indian lady, her name was Jiva, that was responsible to cook for the priest. I realized that she was one of these person that hate all other women, and she was very, very abusive. And very toxic, very unhealthy lady. She would come and she was basically like the boss of the temple. She would tell me what to do and what not. She will come and scream, and really horrible, horrible person, just sick. She was like a witch, man, diabolical and cruel to the bones. And I think she was jealous because maybe she was not so good looking. And she was just attention needy. Every time somebody walk around me, she would offend me and like, get out of here, what are you doing here? And then I will clean the kitchen, and suddenly somebody of these Indian guys will come, and she's like, get out, move on, out of here, this is for men. She was just like horrible, horribly, total bully, totally abusive lady. And she was basically making the whole experience of providing cleaning for this temple horrible nightmare. She was crazy. When I say crazy, I mean this lady had some serious mental health issues. She was also from India, and she considered herself above others, Jiva, and very jealous overall. She would constantly try to make me do some dirty work. I think she had some crush on this priest, one of the priests. And basically, she was kind of trying to do anything to make me look ugly or offend me or scream on me, you know, just all of those behaviors. And to be honest with you, I didn't care about none of these people there. Like, I was not interested. I was caring to sleep because I was not feeling well. And this is why I wanted to be around this temple, because of this praise that they were saying there. But this lady was like attention needy. So the experience of this temple was poor, horrible. She would walk and scream, and if I go to the bathroom, she would be very angry and scream. She would try to force me, and she did force me a few times to enter and clean the bathroom of Indian men's, while the bathroom is full during the weekend, and those guys will enter and take their pants in front of me. Indian men are like animal, especially the ones that come from the province of India. they would literally take their pants in front of you and do their biological necessity. And this lady Jiva was exposing me to this harassment there by forcing me and screaming, insisting that I had to go to clean the male's toilet at this precise time where they were mostly full. And I had different conversation with Prahlad about this behavior of this lady, and I openly refused to do this, stating why, stating that it's not safe, that those people are getting undressed in front of me, and this is not a place to do so. There should be a male guy who clean the toilet while there is 25 guys naked there, or taking their pants down. I didn't want to do this. And there has been different situations with this lady that made the entire experience there absolutely horrendous and toxic. To the point that she would try to hide things that I used to clean with, or just sick lady. I was just mentally insane and abusive, just very toxic. So that was about working working at the temple. Then I requested once again to be moved down to the ashram, and they were not willing to do so, but I was moved to work some land or something. And this is when, by the time that I was like my end of period, I was so depressed. I was crying every day. I was taking so much abuse from these people that were working in this temple, the ladies that were toxic and hateful, and the males that were sexually harassing me, and basically force themselves on me. I didn't feel safe. I was also helping at the kitchen, preparing food that they donate. There would be a line of those Indian men that will try and hang there and stare at me. It was a lot. It was horrible. It was horrible. I didn't feel safe also because of these standing males that will make this position in the kitchen. They will enter and never leave. And I honestly, as much as I dislike the abuse from this lady Jiva, on the other hand, if she was not there, those guys will get real close and stalk me and sexually harass me. So I kind of prefer if she was there and had to take the abuse from her, rather psychological and verbal abuse and emotional threats than sexual harassment, It was bad. So working and providing karma yoga was horrendous experience for me because of the abuse that comes from this Indian lady and from every single person that works in this environment. The white girls that were there, that were lower to someone, and they felt above me, above entitled and whatnot. So overall, working for this temple, if I'm have to give some vote, I would say I don't want to repeat this. I'm not going to advise this experience to anyone because you are abused. I was abused there. I described different ways, verbally, emotionally, by screaming, by putting down, by bullying me, by telling me that I'm lazy, by telling me that I'm not doing something properly. And basically, despite the sexual harassment that I received from Mr. Prahlad, I could say that he was the only person who acknowledged how hard I was working, and the fact that I was trying to keep this temple organized and clean and all of that. I think he was probably the only person who ever mentioned something about my hard working. Plus the Brahmin who was working in this temple, he would say thank you for working. The only person who ever said thank you for working was the Brahmin who was at the temple too, and who was grateful that I kept everything clean and organized. But that was it. Working there was extremely stressful. So I did not enjoy this experience. I explained why. It was nothing to do with the work. Yes, there is a lot of work and it's heavy work. Nobody ever bothered to say thank you so much for your service or we're so grateful. No, I just received nagging, complaining, putting down, denigrating comments, bullying comments, complaining comments. I don't remember somebody say, the only person that says thank you persistently was Harisha. Prahlad was mentioning this, but because he was trying to sleep with me, not because he was actually grateful. I don't know, to be honest with you. I know that he sexually harassed me, and he did mention that I work hard, maybe a few times, maybe once or twice. Anyways, that's about me providing services there at the ashram. Like a volunteer work as a karma yogi. Abusive, a very abusive, very toxic environment. Once again, if you had a different experience, if somebody treats you with respect or kindness, I'm very happy for you. This does not allow you to denigrate or diminish or nullify or deny my experience. I share what I see, what I experience, and how was that for me. Thank you guys for being here. Bye-bye.